Forever. 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 Forever.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Before we get to today's deck, I just want to give a huge shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com/quarantinecapricorn. That's Brittany, Bob Steele, Yuck Foozy, and Noah Vincent at the Brew Crew Elite tier. Isaac Shoop, Super Ad Block Absolution, absolutely. And then of course our forever CPU savior, Terrence Rohrbach. You guys are amazing. Without you guys, I don't know where the channel would be, so thank you so much for your contributions. Today's deck is called Mirrodin Forever, and there's a reason for that. We're using the 4 Mirrodin mechanic, which creates tokens when an equipment comes into play, but we're using it in conjunction with Nahiri's Resolve to keep making tokens, and then we have a bunch of other really cool synergistic ways to abuse Nahiri's Resolve. So, super cool deck. Before we get to the deck tech breakdown, make sure you like this video, comment, let me know what you think about the idea, and then obviously subscribe if you're new here, because every single one of those things helps the channel grow and helps it get out to so many more people, and we need that desperately. So thank you so much. Also, we go live Monday through Friday over at Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Let's check out this deck. Alright, so this deck started out as me trying to figure out the absolute best way to utilize and get the most synergy out of and the most power out of Nahiri's Resolve. This card is a 5 mana enchantment in Boros, gives all of your creatures +1 attack and haste, and then at the beginning of your end step you can exile any number of those creatures and any number of artifacts, and then all of them come back into play at the beginning of your next turn. So, at first inspection here, it looks like it would be good in a very aggressive deck because of the +1/+0 and haste. It's obviously going to be good with anything that has ETB triggers because you get to keep exiling and bringing things back into play. It's like a Yorion every turn, which is kind of nutty. The one way that this is overlooked at being really, really good is when you're up against a control deck. You can exile everything so that it's not there during their turn, and then it comes back into play on your turn. So that way it avoids all of their sorcery speed sweepers, all of their sorcery speed targeted removal, and it can be really good against control in that way. The one problem I noticed with this card is the majority of the ways that you're going to use this, playing creatures that you get value off of ETBs, and then exiling them every turn, it does mean you're never going to have blockers. So if you're exiling everything, it stays exiled during your opponent's turn, doesn't come back until your turn. You're essentially forced into a position where you need to race your opponent to win because you never really have blockers. But I thought to myself, there's a couple of ways that we can actually use this and not have to race our opponent and actually use it the way we want to use it every turn, which is to get insane value out of ETB triggers like a Yorion every turn, and to almost run the deck as a control deck. One way of doing that is, we'll start at the bottom of the curve here, these 4 Mirrodin equipments. Now this is Barbed Batterfist, 2 mana artifact equipment, gives a creature +1/-1, sorry, when it's equipped, and it equips for 1 mana, but it has 4 Mirrodin. So for only the 2 mana you pay to play this artifact, you get a 2/2 token creature that it comes into play attached to. Obviously, all of the token creatures that come from the 4 Mirrodin ability, they're all 2/2s no matter what. So I do think that the most cost-effective 4 Mirrodin equipments are going to be the best when we're trying to utilize something like Nahiri's Resolve to get the most value out of the ETB triggers, because we're going to get that same 2/2 token for only 2 mana instead of playing like a 3 mana equipment or a 4 mana equipment or whatever the case may be and still only get that 2/2 off of it. So we've got the 4 Barbed Batterfists, and we've also got 4 Hexgold Halberd, which is also 2 mana with 4 Mirrodin. As long as it's your turn, equip creature has first strike and trample, and it equips for 3 mana here. So this gives us 8 different cards we can play onto that give us a 2/2 token. But the key here is later in the game when we get down in Nahiri's Resolve, if we exile one of these 4 Mirrodin equipments, we're not losing our blocker. We can still keep this 2/2 back and use it as a blocker while having a permanent that we get value off of by flickering. We exile the Hexgold Halberd or the Barbed Batterfist, and when it comes back into play on our next turn, we get another 2/2 token that it's automatically attached to. So essentially, every Barbed Batterfist or Hexgold Halberd that we have in play is going to give us an extra 2/2 every single turn. And that 2/2 is not really going to be a 2/2. It's going to be at least a 3/2 because of Nahiri's Resolve and with haste. So we can be pretty powerful pretty quickly after dropping in Nahiri's Resolve and be able to close out games relatively fast, whether we're trying to race an aggro deck or survive against control deck. We've also got some extra value off of ETBs here with something like Spirited Companion, where it can draw us cards, and High-Speed Hoverbike is a 2 mana artifact. It's a vehicle. We can flash it into play, tap down their attacker, so it's good against an aggro deck. It kind of holds them off an extra turn so that we can make sure we get to that turn where we play that Nahiri's Resolve. But then also, once we have the Resolve in play, we can exile the Hoverbike every turn, and when it comes back into play on our turn, it can now tap down one of their blockers so that we can get through for more effective attacks. It also crews for 1. So if we're desperate and need to like block a flyer, or we're trying to get in for that little bit of extra damage, we can crew this and we can do that. So High-Speed Hoverbike, we're trying this out at just 2 copies because it's not as good as the other 2 drops, but it's still pretty effective as pseudo removal and then a way to get through for extra game winning damage, as well as taking advantage of that Nahiri's Resolve and the ETB trigger. Moving on to our 3-drop slot, we have Guardian of Ghirapur. Is a 3 mana 3/3 flyer, and it sort of acts as a mini Nahiri's Resolve. When this comes into play, we get to flicker any artifact or creature and have it come back into play immediately. So it's obviously not as good as Nahiri's Resolve because it's not buffing our creatures, it's not exiling everything every turn, but it is way more efficient because it comes down for only 3 mana, and then the thing that we exile is coming back right away, so we get that value immediately. So if we play a turn 3 Guardian of Ghirapur after a turn 2 Barbed Batterfist, we essentially get another 2/2 and a 3/3 flyer for 3 mana, which is just insane. It's a crazy line that we should absolutely be taking, but if we don't play it on 3 and we play one of our other 3 drops, we can get even more value off this later in the game. One of those 3 drops, the most prominent one being Steel Seraph. We can play this for 3 mana as a prototype creature, and it comes into play as a 3/3 flyer, gives a creature of our choice flying, vigilance, or lifelink until end of turn. All of those things are super effective. And then if we flicker it with either the Guardian of Ghirapur or the Nahiri's Resolve, it's going to come back into play as the big side. But the abilities that it's giving as well aren't completely useless in this deck outside of being able to flicker this and getting a big body. Because if we are trying to race aggro, the lifelink helps super effectively, especially if we might be exiling some of our creatures that aren't going to be around to block. The Vigilance is super effective on one of those tokens that we make with the Batterfist or the Halberd, because that means that token can swing in without tapping, and then that token doesn't get exiled by the Resolve. The equipment does. So because we gave the token Vigilance, it sticks around as a blocker. It's able to attack as well because of the Vigilance. And if we just need to get through for some damage and make sure it's not blocked, we can also give flying. So Steel Seraph is good on so many different levels and so many different ways with this deck, and I love it. But we're also trying 2 Marauding Dreadship in the 3-drop slot here, because for 3 mana it comes down as a 4/1 haste vehicle that also incubates 2. A lot of times we can play this, make an incubate token, flicker it every turn when the Nahiri's Resolve, and make a new incubate token every single time. But we can also play this on 3 and just swing in for 4 right away because of the 2-drop that we played the turn before. And every time this gets flickered and comes back with Nahiri's Resolve, it can swing that turn as well. So that 4 power is not nothing, and being able to essentially make a 2/2 every turn with this as well is super effective. Moving on to our 4-drop slot, we have 2 copies of Serra Paragon. It would be cool if we could run more of this, but I think 2 is the right number, and we are trying to fit a lot of different things that we want into this deck. But a 3/4 flyer here for 4, the important thing here is we can play any 3-drop or less from our graveyard and bring it back into play. So all of these early drops that we're playing, if our opponent is using our removal to deal with them on curve, we can bring out Serra Paragon later in the game and just bring them all back and re-trigger all of their ETBs that way. And in that way, it syncs up synergistically with everything else the deck's trying to do. But what's also cool about Nahiri's Resolve with Serra Paragon is the fact that normally as soon as you play a Serra Paragon, it has a huge target on its head because it can bring everything back. But if you have a Nahiri's Resolve out as well, you can exile at the end of turn, and now it doesn't die to your opponent's sweepers, it doesn't die to their sorcery speed removal, it has a much greater chance of surviving, and then it can come back into play when you can use it and replay another thing from your graveyard. So it really helps keep that one Serra Paragon alive, relevant, and be able to keep using it every turn because of the Nahiri's Resolve sort of protecting it, which is really cool. We've also got 2 copies of Mysterious Limousine because it acts as really good removal with Nahiri's Resolve, while also offering some interesting synergies with some of our own things because we're in a deck that wants to flicker stuff. So we can play this as a 5-drop, and if we're desperate, we can just get rid of their worst thing. We need Shieldred gone, whatever. We can exile it, and when we swing with it, we don't have to, but we can choose to exile something different, and the thing we previously exiled goes away. Now, one way that we can use this really effectively is if we already have a Nahiri's Resolve down, and we play this, we know we can swing with it that turn immediately because it's going to have haste as long as we can crew it. So we come into play, instead of exiling their big threat, we exile one of our things that we can get value off of, either the Dreadship or one of the 4 Mirrodin equipments, so that we can make another 2/2 eventually, or, you know, a Hoverbike to tap something down, or a companion to draw a card, or whatever the case may be. We exile our own thing, maybe our own Steel Seraph, and then immediately we get to crew the Limousine, swing with it, choose to exile their big threat, and the thing that we exiled immediately comes back and gives us all that value right away because of that haste from Nahiri's Resolve, giving us the ability to kind of get both in the same turn, when normally you'd have to wait a whole turn cycle to get that extra value off of it. So this is really good in this deck for multiple reasons, but it's also important that we have a couple of clear ways of dealing with our opponent's threats. And to go alongside these 2 Mysterious Limousines, we have 4 copies of Vanquish the Horde, and that gives us sort of a 6-card removal package here of dealing with our opponent's threats. But what's really cool about Vanquish the Horde is it allows this deck to act as more so a control deck rather than an aggro or mid-range deck. And we can play this for 8 mana, destroy all creatures, and if we've got Nahiri's Resolve on the field, it doesn't really matter because we're able to generate so much value every turn, make a whole bunch more creatures, that even if we wipe our side of the board, we're just bringing everything back. And sometimes we can even just bring everything back with a Serra Paragon as well, and not just, you know, make new tokens with Nahiri's Resolve, which gets kind of crazy. And the reason that Vanquish the Horde in particular works so good in this deck is because we can stack up a bunch of tokens with the Batterfist, the Halberd, the Dreadship, whatever, and then that makes the cost of Vanquish the Horde go super low. It is very, very consistent that if we're up against an aggro deck, we're almost always being able to Vanquish the Horde by turn 4 for only 2 mana, because we've got creatures, they've got creatures. To spend 2 mana to play Vanquish the Horde, wipe the board, follow it up with another 2-drop the same turn, and then still be able to rebuild our board state completely because of Nahiri's Resolve is nuts. And if we can get to the point where we drop a Nahiri's Resolve first, and then we Vanquish the Horde, it's crazy because the very next turn cycle, we're getting all the value from everything coming back into play when Nahiri's resolve, and we're just able to pick right up where we left off. So as long as we plan for it appropriately, Vanquish the Horde can just completely decimate the opponent and almost make this deck like a control deck, which is really, really cool. And we can hold a Serra Paragon in our hand or something like that to get back some of our creatures that die when we Vanquish the Horde, which is another good reason to use Vanquish the Horde over other sweepers here, because it doesn't exile, it destroys the creatures, so we can get them back with the Serra Paragon later. We can also play things like the Limousine, the Dreadship, the Incubate token, the Hoverbike. All of these things are going to give us potential creatures without actually being creatures. So when we play Vanquish the Horde, all of those things are left behind. It's not uncommon to play something like a Dreadship that makes an Incubate token, which are 2 potential creatures here, and then we don't turn the Incubate token into a creature. We wait until after we Vanquish the Horde, and then we can turn the Incubate token into a creature afterwards, crew the Marauding Dreadship, swing in for 4. We have all of this stuff on the table ready to recover from a sweeper after we cast it. So a lot of synergy there, a lot of interesting ways for this deck to act like a control deck, which is really, really cool. We've also got 1 Mycosynth Garden because there's plenty of artifacts here that we can make copies of. We've got 1 Mirrex because every now and then we might be in a situation where we just need to make some 1/1 tokens to crew some of the things that we have on the board that survived a Vanquish the Horde. So just one of these adds a little bit of spice to the deck, and then 4 Sundown Pass, 4 Battlefield Forge, 1 Sokenzan, 1 Eiganjo, 7 Plains, and 5 Mountain. The deck is insane. I know I say that every time, but this one's truly wild, and I absolutely loved it. I'm looking forward to actually tinkering with maybe some 3-color versions of this in the future. It's super fun, so let's check out the games. That is so much better. Alright, this looks great. We'll keep it. Start with the mountain, pass the turn. Looks pretty good. Plains, we'll go Hexgold Halberd. We are going to need to get lucky and draw into some more land for the resolve here. But I think we'll be okay. Let's see. Let's see if he wants to trade his Kami. He does not. We'll smash him for 4. That seems pretty good. That seems pretty good. What is next? Vein of Truth, sure. 2 counters. I think we're just gonna have to Vanquish. Vanquish. Which we can do, but it would mean we'd have to lose our Dreadship. I think we can wait another turn. Yeah, that's what I think. We'll do that. We'll do this. We will swing 6. First strike. Alright, we're gonna end turn, hold up the High-Speed Hoverbike. Okay, buffs up the Generous Visitor. Don't know why. Skrelv, sure. Sure. tap you down. Looks pretty good to me. Then we'll play Vanquish the Horde. And then we'll play Spirited Companion. And then we will crew the Hoverbike. Use the Hoverbike to crew the Dreadship. And then swing with the Dreadship for 4. And then we'll probably be able to kill him next turn. We can attack with the Dreadship and equip the Hexgold Halberd to it, which seems strong. Let me think. Batterfist. Oh, I don't have enough to equip it. Crap. It takes 3 to equip, not 2. I don't know why I was thinking 2. I do not know why I was thinking 2. That is unfortunate. I think we swing anyway. Being this close, I think it's just better to get in for whatever damage we can. Early turn token generation in blue, black, or white. What's his name? The black 2-drop legendary guy that makes a decayed zombie every turn. There's also Poppet Stitcher if you're running a mostly non-creature deck with like stuff like wedding announcements. Poppet Stitcher could be kind of cool. Alright, here we go. Nahiri's Resolve. Let's see if we get there. He Eiganjo's the Hoverbike. He blocks that with Portrait. And then we'll exile you, and you. Next turn is going to be a doozy. He has to win this turn. It's possible. It is possible. If he gets the Reign of Truth right now, this goes up to a 6/6. And then 7/7, 8/8. He could swing for 8 if those are both enchantments. So he just needs a way to get through for another 2 points. I also really like Invasion of Innistrad Squirrel. You should give that a try. Even though that's not technically your early token creature generation, I think it's worth a copy or two. because it's just really good. I think just Nahiri's Resolve is better. And we just win, right? I mean, he does have the Naturalist, but we got some Trample coming through. So I don't think it matters. That's a mistake. Because of Trample. Trample and First Strike, so he doesn't even get to gain his life yet. Alright, we will keep this. I'm going to lead with a Sundown Pass. Jose Ortega. Urbrask's Forge is another decent one, as well as Skrelv's Hive. But I don't think you're playing red. Two Phoenix Chicks, okay. We'll play a Mirrex and a Steel Seraph. And we'll try to go lifelink here. Ooh, no shock. I think that's the game. I think that's the game, guys. Pretty wild. I'm not gonna block. No way am I gonna block. I'm gonna make you have to use removal you'd rather not use. Alright. Steel Seraph dodges all the pain. Love it. Absolutely love it. I guess we just go Hexgold Halberd, huh? Lifelink. I'm not worried about him getting in for 2 damage on the Invasion of Tarkir. If he absolutely goes nuts, we can always just Vanquish the Horde. Another Invasion of Tarkir. Kills the Seraph finally. That's fine. We're gonna have to wait 1 turn to Vanquish, I think. We want him to flip those Tarkirs first. No blocks. 0 blocks. Do some of this. Do some of this. Swing 4. And then we'll let him flip all of his Tarkirs and think he's on top of the world. And we will Vanquish the Horde and lose just 1 creature. Hello. Hello, friend. We are doing the thing. Monsieur Ortega. Alright. Really surprised you didn't cast a Devastator. He's never gonna see it coming. He's never gonna see it coming. Do you guys think he's gonna scoop? Let me know in the comments before he actually does it whether you think he's gonna scoop or not. Let's see if you're right. So awesome. Right, we'll turn our incubator into a Phyrexian, use it to crew the Dreadship. Lightning Strike. Alright. I'm okay with that. Next turn we Nahiri's Resolve and things start getting real crazy. Real crazy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Come on, Shivan Devastator. Hit me for 5. Does he even attack? He doesn't realize. He doesn't realize those dudes are gonna come in with haste. Oh, he doesn't even realize. And then we play another Nahiri's Resolve. And then we smash him for 12. Alright, I will keep this. It looks pretty good. We have a Spirited Companion. It does stink that our other land is a Mirrex. But at least our first land is a dual land. So that helps. But it would be great if we could top deck a land and save the Mirrex for turn 3. That would make sure we can get our Steel Seraph out, which would be nice. Alright. I think we want a Spirited Companion to make sure we hit our third land next turn. Does it get a counterspell? It does not. I don't think this one's in the cards for us. We've got 2 Vanquish the Hordes against a control deck. That's unfortunate. I think we just need to swing with the Spirited Companion and try to flash in the Hoverbike. On his turn, get him to counter it. So we can land the Steel Seraph on our turn. Hello. All right, cool. No attacks. Does at least hold him off from swinging for now, because we're actually cracking back for more, and we can crack back with lifelink. Alright, well, he's got another Haughty Djinn. That's unfortunate. We just need to line up that Vanquish the Horde correctly. Really need another land. Can he afford to swing in? He's down to 3 cards, so if we can just brute force our way through his hand, force him to play out all of his spells, we might be okay. What is Gunther Mac doing? Alright, he copied our Steel Seraph. Jesus Christ, look at that board. But he's tapped out. Oh, please tell me. Please, please tell me. This is glorious. Is he gonna scoop? I bet he's gonna scoop. You shouldn't have tapped out, Gunther Mac. Speaking of killing everything that touches the board. Alright, we'll start with the Guardian of Ghirapur. Because if he counters that, we can play the Serra Paragon and replay it. I think he's gonna scoop. Advertise Scorn. Okay. That's fine. Thirst. Does he find another Haijin? I mean, we took out a lot of his creatures. It's going to be harder for him to dig and find more. They're definitely in there. But it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Let's try and land a Serra Paragon. We did. We can't play these this turn, but if he doesn't deal with the Paragon... Okay, he did. But he's running on fumes. Oh, man. Serra Paragon is tempting. Serra Paragon is really tempting. But I think we try to land the Resolve while he's low on cards. We can get a creature every turn out of the Halberd if we do that. And everything gains haste, so we can just speed up this game and get to a win quick. Hey Yuckfoozy, welcome to the stream. Alright, Halberd comes back. We've got another land. Let's see, 6 land. So I think we go Paragon. If he doesn't counter it, we bring something back. If he does, we play the Halberd. Either way, I think we got him. Scorn. Sure. Play the Halberd. Swing 6. Next turn we'll be swinging 12. So close to dead. So close. Moment of truth. You only get one answer. Tolarian Terror. 2, 3, 4, 5. If we get a land, we can play the Limousine and try to eat the Terror. I guess that's what we're going to try to do. Come on. Come on. And we should be able to win. Yeah, there we go. Ha ha ha. Alright, I am going to keep this. Start with the Sundown Pass, pass the turn. Yeah, I like the new job a lot because it fits really easily into my schedule. It's not a pain in the butt. And I get to do something that feels like I'm actually contributing. Like I'm actually doing something people appreciate and they get something out of. And it's a good feeling. Alright, he got rid of my Spirited Companion. How dare he? Play the Batterfist. And then we'll Ghirapur into the Batterfist. And that will be insane. Oh god. You would, Duchess. I believe it. There's no basketball courts on my beach. Get out of here. Guardian of Ghirapur. We will flicker the Barbed Batterfist to get another creature. How good is that? A 3/3 flyer and a 3/1 for 3 mana. Nutty. Play you. See if he's got the counterspell. Doesn't look it. We will swing. So if he kills the Paragon, the next turn we play Nahiri's Resolve. If he doesn't, we're going to play the Companion and the Guardian of Ghirapur. We're going to have to race Shieldred. Is what we're going to have to do. Which is fine. Resolve. Definitely not attacking with that 3/1. So we'll do that. And then we'll swing with our flyer. Here we go. We chump block with the Spirited Companion if he swings, because we can always replay that from the yard. Start getting in for 6 damage every turn in the air. Seems pretty good. If we land the Resolve, we're getting in for 8 in the air every turn. 9 if we put the Batterfist on something. I think we can still win this. It really depends what his hand is like, what kind of removal he's got left in the deck. Blade Coil Serpent. Oh boy. Discard 2 cards. Well, thank God it's only 2. That's fine. Nahiri's Resolve. Swing, swing. Can't really swing with these guys, can we? So it's still going to be 8. We'll play land. We'll end the turn. Flicker you. Flicker you. Might as well flicker these so that they can't be killed. They're basically immune from sorcery speed removal now. And I think we just win next turn. And he is able to gain some life here with Shieldred. Legion of Amonkhet, that's fine. More stuff in our yard to get back. With the Serra Paragon. And whatever we bring back is going to have haste because of Nahiri's resolve, so... Resolve. So we'll go Guardian of Ghirapur. We'll exile nothing. But we will swing for 12 in the air. And then we will play the plains. Exile, exile, exile. And exile. And then we've got plenty of chump blockers. He can't kill our flyers. And we swing in for the win next turn. Siphon Insight isn't going to do a lot. This does not have trample. Yeah, we got you. We got you. It looks decent, but we've got no white. We are in the draw, and we've got a pretty good curve. I'm going to try and keep it. Alright, we'll play Mountain. Standard is much better now that Invoke Despair and Fable of the Mirror Breaker are gone. But they're definitely making mistakes as far as rotation. And it bums me out. Alright, let's play the Halberd. Try and put down a blocker in front of this frontliner. I mean, Natali's still really cool. I don't think he's great in this kind of deck, though. Like, there's no ramp. You know, there's no way to get to Atali quick. In a deck where you can speed out Atali early enough that it's relevant, I think it's really good. Alright, we're going to try this. See if it gets countered. He's playing Yoshin frontliner, but he's not playing very many creatures, so it's kind of weird. Sounds awesome, Duchess. Soldier's Temple? Maybe. Come on, Stumble Duck, show me what you got. I'm just gonna Soul Partition my Guardian of Ghirapur. I mean, tempo-wise it's not good, but it's we can get a lot of ETB value off that, so it's not the worst. He's running out of cards. Start with this. Excuse me. Play Eiganjo. We'll play the Halberd. And we'll pass the turn. Alright, we've got the Sundown Pass. Do we play the Guardian of Ghirapur now? Do we play the Guardian of Ghirapur? I'm gonna hold the Vanquish the Horde until Moonrage Brute flips again. So I think we're gonna try and play him. We're gonna trick him into eating our Steel Seraph. And then we're gonna Vanquish the Horde and get it back as the big version. That's the plan. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we could also just flicker the Seraph ourselves. But I just want to force him to run out all of his value. And then if we can Vanquish the Horde and get back the Steel Seraph, oh man. And I think that's what he's going to do. Come on, eat the Seraph. Do it. Eat the Seraph. Eat the Seraph. You know you want to. Just fucking do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it. I'm here. Kill me. Kill me. I'm here. No.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
What a bastard. What a bastard. Well. Here we go. Let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna play the damn thing. Boom. We'll give it flying. Smack in for 4. Try to race him. I think we can race him. We've got all the value in the world. Do another one. Do we get a counterspell? No. No counterspell. 0 counterspell. Alright. We're gonna give you flying. We're gonna give you vigilance. No, we've already got a tapped one. So let's just give you lifelink and give you flying. I was thinking to avoid Wandering Emperor, but we've got one Steel Seraph already tapped. All that would do is prevent 1 damage, or let us hit for an extra 1 damage. Right, swinging in. 4. He's trying to race us. Don't think it's gonna work, buddy. I think we go like this. We go like this. We go like this. And I could equip the Barbed Batterfist to something.
Now I have a machine.
But I don't need to. And we can even hold up the Hoverbike in case we need to be defensive next turn. That was a pretty good comeback. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck techs, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.